Okay, so like we said, if a number is a percent, then it's out of 100, we can rewrite, or we can write the percent as a fraction or a ratio. 47% is 47 over 100. We know that every percent is out of, it means out of 100. Okay? So it doesn't matter if it's under 1 or over 100, it's still going to be over 100. What about letter B? Letter B is 3%. So how do I write 3% as a ratio? No? 3 out of 100. Okay? So what we can actually do is we can write 3%. We can move our decimal point in. And then when we read it, it's 3/100. So that's 3 over 100. Now letter C is tricky. Why is letter C a little bit tricky? Because it's a decimal. So we have to convert this percent into a decimal. Okay? So 66.6%, right? So then, because it's got 3 digits, it goes over 1,000. So that's 666 thousandths. Now that is not in simplest form. So what we can do is we can use our trusty dusty Desmos or your handheld calculator. Okay? So I can then reduce it to 333 over 500. Okay? So this is the decimal equivalent, and then it reduces it from 666 over 1,000 to 333 over 500. Nope, I don't want that. Questions writing percents as fractions? Okay, so not only do we write our percents as fractions, but some of the percents we actually wrote as decimals as well. Okay, to help us understand the values. So, the next thing we're going to look at today is percent of a number. The word of in math means to multiply. To find the percent of a number, multiply the percent times a number. Now, can I multiply a percent times a number? No. What does that percent have to be converted into to be able to multiply? A fraction or a decimal. Very good. So that's why we converted fractions and decimals and percents on Friday, so it can help us with our math problems today. So 13% of 25. What is 13% as a decimal? Okay, so we could write it as 13 over 100, or we could write it as 13 hundredths. Of tells us to do what? So I multiply by? We're going to get the same value whether we use a fraction or we use a decimal. Our forms will be different. So our forms may be different. So in your calculators, now be careful when you're using Desmos. Make sure you get yourself out of the denominator before you multiply. Bob, what'd you get? 3.25. Okay. So Bob multiplied a decimal times the whole number. So we got 3 and 25 hundredths. Somebody get something different? Yes, Gabriella?
3 1/4.
I got that too. 3 1/4. I could have also got 13 over 4. Did anyone get 13 over 4 when they did it on Desmos?
Yeah.
Okay, is that all right? Absolutely, it's okay. Those are all equivalent values of 13% times 25. All right, so try 45% times 50 for me. So 45% times 50. All right, so 45% of 50. Connor? Say it one more time, honey. 22 and 5 tenths?
Yeah.
Agree, disagree? Did anyone else get something different? Gabriella? 22 and a half. So 45% we can rewrite is 45 hundredths times 50. So when Connor did that, he got 22 and 5 tenths. So then, Gabriella, you did a fraction, yes? Any questions? Is that, you did those last year? It's okay. So either one, again, either one it's going to be, either one is going to be acceptable. Also down here, if you got 45 over 2, that's acceptable as well. Okay, because in Desmos, you do improper fractions instead of mixed numbers, so that would be okay. Do you want to do letter C, or do we feel comfortable? Thumbs up, thumbs down, middle. Okay. All right. Katie asked 700 students if they like math class. Katie found that 33% of the students like math. How many students said yes to Katie's question? Round to the nearest whole number. Okay, so 33% of the students said they like math. How many students were surveyed? Okay, 700. So we're going to take 33% and do what with it? We're going to multiply it by 700. And again, we can't just multiply 33% times 700. We have to take 33% in either a fraction or a decimal. And again, round to the nearest whole number. Because we can't have pieces and parts of people. We're not The Walking Dead. No giggles? Okay.
Are they finally ending that show?
I have no idea. I don't watch it.
Oh.
I'm in a Netflix series kick right now, so.
What's that mean?
Like, I've been watching Netflix series instead of watching, like, regular TV. So. I mean, I still watch Grey's and This Is Us and stuff like that, but Mass Singer came back on this week. My husband guessed the first one this week. I know. I was like, are you kidding me? He goes, oh no, that's that. I was like, what? No way. He goes, no, for real. And then he was right. I was like, you gotta be kidding me. I was like, you don't even listen to music ever. The only thing he listens to is talk radio.
No, that's
Sports talk radio.
yes.
That's all I listen to. All right, so how many students like math class? Craig?
231.
Huh?
I have 231.
231? Agree, disagree with Craig? Okay. That's got to be a lie, right?
230.
Oh gosh, yeah. We have, I'm going to say like 135, 140 maybe in 7th grade.
There are like a lot of elementary school that are bigger than public schools.
Oh, there's this,
Oh, yeah.
like that, the school teaches dance was like a board for the school, so they had that many kids in there.
Yeah, I taught in the school district, before I came here, the school district I taught at was 17,000 students. 17,000, the whole school district was 17,000 students.
Too much dip on
In
the
my
shit.
middle school alone, because I taught at 2 different middle schools when I was there. I taught at Orange Middle School, and then when Berkshire Middle School, I opened up. I taught at Berkshire as well. We had 900 kids in the school. So there were 300 6th graders, 300 7th graders, 300 8th graders, and there were 4 schools just like mine.
Move it, calm down, Jamal.
4, 5. Hyatt's 5. Hyatt's, Liberty, Olentangy, Orange, and then Berkshire. There's 5.
They're in like that one division, one
Yeah.
because my uncle was the head coach for the basketball.
Yes. Yep.
My cousin goes to Korea.
And they have a ton. Yeah. So like, and the attendance area is really big too. So like, I mean, you got to think it's all of Powell, Orange Township, some of Lewis Center, some of Westerville, like all like, yeah, it was really big, huge. When I went down there the first time, I was like, holy jeez, this is a lot of kids. And then I came here and I was like, oh my gosh, there's no one here. And I was like, is this just 7th grade building? No? This is the whole thing? Yeah, okay, all right.
Every individual person is doing fine.
But I love it. I do. I love it. I'm from a really, really big school district to about a tenth of the size. Because it was 17,000, we're about 1,700, 1,800 here.
Wait, so do you know how many students go?
That school put way too much dip on the
In this middle school,
Yeah.
I think,
Oh shoot,
I thought it was free.
I don't know, I think like 385, 390, something like that. Yeah. All right, let's turn it over. So, the next thing we're going to look at is calculating percent using the percent proportion. Okay. So the percent proportion is part over whole equals percent over 100. Okay, so it's a fraction is equal to a percent as a fraction. Okay, so part over whole equals percent over 100. If you see a percent in your math problem, it always goes over 100. Okay, so the most difficult part is figuring out what our part is and what our whole is. So I made a chart for you. If the question asks you to find the percent, so 3 is what percent of 4? Okay, so 3 is what percent of 4? Okay, yes, sir. Okay, well, yes. We'll figure out how to solve it here in a minute. But we're just setting up the problem. Very good. Okay, so 3 is what percent? We don't know the percent, so we either put a percent symbol there or a question mark of 4. Okay, so is of. is considered our part, of is our whole. Okay? So 3 is what percent of 4? If we want to find the part, what number is? Do we know that number? No, so we put a question mark or an X. 75% goes over 100, and then of 4 goes in the denominator. And if they're asking us to find the whole, 3 is. So 3 is our part, so it goes in the numerator. 75% goes over 100. Of what number, we don't know, so our X goes in the denominator. So again, we're looking at part over whole is equal to the percent over 100. We can also say is over of is equal to the percent over 100. Six is what percent of 44? Do we know the percent? Do we know the percent? No. 6 is 6 the part or the whole? What's our whole? 44. Can we get from 44 to 100 easily? We can't, unfortunately. So what we can actually do is we could use cross products in this situation. Okay? So cross products. 44 times x is 6 times 100. Now, do you know how to solve that one-step equation? 44 is being multiplied by x. So the inverse of multiplying by x would be, okay, or 44, yeah. So divide by 44. Divide by 44. Do I expect you to do 600 divided by 44 in your head? Okay. Okay. So that's 13.63 repeating. Okay. Now x is over 100. So what is this value? It's a what? So x is equal to 13.63 repeating. X is over 100. So x is a what? X is a percent. So this is actually 13.63%. I don't need to move my decimal. I don't need to put it back over 100. I can just put the percent symbol because it's x over 100, which is our percent over 100. So that's our answer. $72 is what percent of 85? What are we looking for? Our percent. We don't know our percent, so it goes over 100. What is our other ratio? 72 over 85. Can I get from 85 to 100 easily?
No.
So I have to use what? So I have to use cross products. Okay? So 85 times x, 85x, and then 72 over 100. Come on, honey. honey. Let's go. What? I know. What do you think is an appropriate place to round to?
85.
Huh? I would actually round to the nearest hundredth. Okay, so 2 points past. So this is 84.705888235. So I would actually round this to 84.71. Okay. So x is equal to 84.71, and that is a what? That's a percent.
If numbers like that, should we round even if it doesn't say round?
Yeah, absolutely. Here's our next one. What number is 15% of 25? What do you know immediately before you even start the problem? Tucker?
That's over 25.
What, honey?
That we already have a percent.
We have a percent. So our percent goes over what?
100.
100. So right away, we can put 15 over 100. So what number is? Do we know what number is?
No.
So where does our x go? Numerator or denominator? Numerator, because we're looking for our part. Of 25 goes in the denominator. Now here's a question for you. What do you see?
What's different than,
Okay, can I get from 25 to 100?
Yes.
Can I get from 100 to 25 easily? So 100, how do I get to 25? Divide by 4. So if I divide 100 by 4, what else can I divide by 4? 15. So I can actually go this way. But I gotta go 100 divided by 4, so 15 divided by 4. Okay. Three and 3/4?
Yeah.
3.75? Does this need a percent symbol?
No.
Because it's not our percent. Could I also solve this using cross products?
Yes.
Yeah, I could solve this using cross products. 100 times x is 100x. 15 times 25. I know that one off the top of my head. 375. Does that make sense? Yeah, because if I divide this by 100 and this by 100, I'm also going to get 375. Okay. Try to set up letter B on your own. What number is 5.5% of 50? So think about our percent proportion. Part over whole equals percent over 100. Okay, so try to set it up on your own. So what number is 5.5% or 5.5% of 50? I always do this first because I know something's going to be over 100, right? In this case, what's going to be over 100? 5.5. Can I have a decimal in there? Yeah, that's okay. I'm okay with that. So what's our other ratio? What is our other ratio? Bob? X over 50. Very good. Go ahead and solve. If you haven't done so already. If you haven't done so already, some people haven't done it yet. So whether you want to use cross products or whether you want to use compatible numbers, either one is okay. Just look for that compatible number, make sure you've got that. I'm going to ask you a question. We're looking for 5.5%, right? What's 10% of 50? Agreed? Okay, so our value would then have to be what? Abraham? We're looking for 5.5%. We know that 10% is 5. So if we got a number larger than 5, have we done something wrong? Yeah, because we need about half of that, right? So when I solve this problem, my compatible numbers, yeah, 50 and 100 are compatible, yes? How do I get from 100 to 50? I divide by 2. So if I divide 100 by 2, then I also need to do 5.5 by 2, correct? Okay. So I divide this by 2 and divide this by 2. So 5.5 divided by 2, 2 7/500ths? How many of you got 2 7/500ths? Okay. Why do you think I asked you first what 10% was? Bob?
Because the percent is 5.5.
Okay. So I was looking for you to understand, is my answer reasonable? Okay. If I got something greater than 10 or greater than 5, I know my answer is not reasonable because 10% of 50 is 5. So that's what I want you to think about. I want you to think about, does my answer make sense? Okay. So not only am I able to solve the problem, but do I have that number sense to understand whether my answer makes sense? All right, flip the page. Is 90% of what number? So 30 is 90% of what number? What do you know right off the bat without even having to think about it? What do you know? Anna, go. Very good. 90 goes over 100. So 30 is. Where does the 30 go? Connor? So what goes down here? So let's use cross products. 90 times x. 30 times 1,000. Or sorry, 30 times 100. 300? 3,000. This is a one-step equation. Do you know how to solve a one-step equation? 90 is being multiplied by x. So the inverse of multiplying by 90, divided by 90. And yeah, you're going to get a decimal, yes? Shh. Danica? Say it one more time. That's okay, just leave your decimal point out one. Now here's what I want you to do real quick. I want you to do 30 divided by 33.3 in your calculators. Thirty divided by 3.33. Is it exactly 90%? Exactly? No, 30 divided by 33.33. Right here. Did you get exactly 90%? No, but we run it to the nearest whole percent, right? Okay, so we run it to 90%. That's how your grades work. That's what we do every time, right? All right, your homework for tonight. Bless you. I think bless you. Your homework for tonight, I want you to do 1 through 5.